Hey everyone, I'm Jeff. This is Fit After Fitness, and in this video, I want to talk about my 12 years of being on cycle. So, so essentially from the age of 24 to the age of 36, I pretty much took 500 milligrams of testosterone every week for 12 years. And this is just kind of a run through of what happened, kind of during and after. So, like I said, I didn't start taking any steroids till I was 24 years old. I started working out, um, you know, I guess pretty serious when I was 17, 18 years old. And from that time on, I was natural till I was 24. I was quite the advocate of not doing steroids because I was already super lean and fit and strong already without doing it. And so I figured that I didn't need it. But something in me changed, a little bit of peer pressure. So anyway, I had a lot of stuff that I did wrong. Well, everything that you could do wrong while taking steroids, I did wrong. Pretty much everything. Like steroids, like I practically almost died from steroids. And I can get into that story a little after. But so just to quickly run through here. So at 24 years old, I started getting steroids off a friend of mine, and he just gave me whatever. I don't even know what it was at first. All I know is I know what I was taking. I was taking testosterone or cypionate, excuse me. I was taking cypionate, and I was taking anadrol. And at the time, I was taking like 6 anadrols a day. And so I jumped so when I was 24, like I weighed around 210. Actually, I weigh the same weight that I weigh back then. So I was 210 and probably sitting around 8 or 9% body fat. And I was just always like that my whole life. I was always lean and vascular. But I went from 210 and I jumped up to 240 within like, I don't know, let's say like 2-3 months, 2.5 months. Like I already jumped up so high, but as lean as I was still pretty bloated. But the first sign that things were going to be trouble was the very first shot that I ever took, and it was my friend who sold me the steroids who actually did it. He gave me my first shot in the shoulder, and it hurt so fucking bad. Like I couldn't even move my shoulder or my arm for like a week. I remember bugging him, asking him like, is this way it's going to feel every time I do a shot? Because if it isn't, I don't want to do it because that's just not fun. I can take as much pain as the next guy, but to feel that type of pain, uncomfortable, not be able to move your arm, it was pretty bad. Like it was all swollen and everything. Like I could barely move. So that was the first issue that I had. I worked through it because I wanted to do it. The next major issue was the fact, okay, for one, I was just uneducated. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just listening to what he was telling me to do, and he just kept giving me stuff. He didn't tell me that I had to cycle or anything like that, or about anti-estrogens or side effects or just anything. You just take this and you work out and that's it. So that's what I did. Not realizing, everything else that was going on psychologically and physically and everything. I just wasn't watching the signs. One of my biggest faults in life is the fact that I don't see red flags for some reason, and that goes with my women too. So take that as you will. So where are we at? Okay, so because of the fact of being uneducated, not knowing anything, just listening to whoever, the bro science, and even back then, so this is back in 2004, and I wasn't very computer savvy. I was out doing other things, so I wasn't on the computer on forums trying to figure out what was going on. I was just listening to my buddies, and they were all big, so they actually knew what they were doing. So the next thing after that was going on was the excuse me, dropped my Barbie pen. I got Barbie pen from the dollar store because it was 3 for 1. It was a Scooby-Doo, Spider-Man and Barbie. That's all they had. So I had to pick a Barbie pen too, pencil, whatever. Anyway, so the next thing that I noticed that was going on was, and this is, I don't know how long into it after this. It was quite a couple years into doing steroids at this point. The next thing that showed up, and because of the amount of steroids I was doing and not knowing about the side effects, so I noticed on my chest, I started getting blackheads of what it looked like on my chest. Just one day I remember looking in the mirror and it looked like all blackheads. So I remember going in the shower and just putting hot water and just trying to squeeze everything out. I just thought it was just acne because I had bad acne in the puberty. Like I got scars all over my body from it. So essentially what was going on, I went from blackheads to these big boils and zits, and I was popping them and squeezing them and just blowing pus and stuff everywhere. And it just got even worse from there. Now the thing is, I just want to go through the whole timeline of this 12 years of steroids just to get to the end. And then I'm going to do future videos doing individual stories of all the stupid shit that I did. I got many steroid stories, and then I have subsections of trend tales. So continue to watch my channel and find out about that stuff. So just continuing on. So this turned into, long story short about this, it turned into a big mass. And I was working up in the middle of nowhere. Finally go to the hospital after months of trying to deal with it. And so as soon as I went to the hospital, they found out that not only did I have a huge skin infection, but my blood was infected. And they had to put me on IV. I can't remember what the antibiotic was, but all I remember them saying was it was the most potent that they had. And they got to watch my colon because they might have to remove my colon because of the antibiotics that I'm taking. So now I might have to get my colon removed because of them trying to save me from the steroids that I was taking. So, and then because of that, I actually nearly died. Like I was pretty much on my next to death in the hospital there. And they said that I was lucky that I came in. Because at that point, too, like I was so poisoned, my body, I didn't realize, I thought I was just, just tired just from not being able to sleep and everything. But it was actually the fact that my whole body was poisoned, like my blood was poisoned and everything, and not realizing. So, even after that happened, I was still taking the steroids. Everything got all fixed up. And I have massive scarring all on my chest, everything. I can go through all that later. But so the next thing after that, where are we at? Yeah, so this, and then there was, so years after, because this scared me, obviously. Like that's when I started to research. I started to find out as much as I could about everything. That's when I found out about anti-estrogens and all the side effects, everything. But obviously I still didn't know everything. And even then I thought that, let's see, like I even thought like Novadex and Arimidex were the same thing, just a different name, whereas they don't work the same in the body. And just things like this I didn't know. So, and other factors that were going on in my life. So this whole time I'm still just taking, after the whole initial, my not knowing what I was doing and my friends just giving me whatever, having all those issues. I then found a good reputable source of steroids. And at that point I was just, the whole time I was cruising on 500 milligrams of testosterone for years. That's all I did. 2 shots, once Sunday, once Thursday, every week, nonstop for years. That's what I did. And the only thing that I would do anything different, if I were to do something different, I would throw some Tren in there. That's it. I didn't do the D-balls or the Anadrol because as soon as I start doing that, that's when the gyno, everything just goes out of whack in me. I can handle a lot of testosterone, but putting anything else inside me, it doesn't work well. Years old, I had a lot of shit happen. This is after I did a bodybuilding competition. I had a lot of shit go on with relationships with women, just a lot of psychological stuff going on. And I finally broke. And then when I finally broke at 36 years old, I cold turkeyed all the steroids, everything. I got rid of, like I fell into a deep, dark depression for 4 years is pretty much what happened. And in that time, I ended up, I had to be, I had to be hospitalized a few times because of suicidal thoughts and tendencies and turning to drugs and just a total downfall. Just everything went, like I was in a room for 4 years and couldn't get out and still seeing doctors. They were giving me antidepressants, antipsychotics. Meanwhile, at the time too, like I'm sitting here, at the time I was probably around 260 pounds, maybe 10% body fat. And they're not even asking me about if I was on steroids or anything. But even myself, I never even mentioned it because I wasn't even thinking that had anything to do with testosterone related. I was just so fucked up. I didn't realize that what was going on. So finally, let's say almost 4 years after, almost 4 years after, oh wait, I forgot about something else too. I had the gyno surgery too, because I got massive gyno from all the years of not doing any anti-estrogens. So I had that surgery done too. Plus they thought I had cancer. I had a cancer scare. They had to rip. It was just a horrible mess. And that was just something I'll go into later. But so finally, about 3 years into my depression, not taking any testosterone or anything, I didn't realize how far gone I was. But at that point, like none of my man parts were working at all, ever, for years. I didn't get a hard on for years. Not that I wasn't trying to go out. I wasn't going out. I was just at home in my room, being all fucked up, trying not to kill myself, or trying to kill myself at the same time. It was a horrible mess, horrible. So finally, I had enough. I really wanted something taken care of because the pills that they were giving me was not fixing what was going on. And so I finally went to the doctor, and I'm like, look, I just want to get everything tested. I want my testosterone levels tested, everything. And so, like I said, this is almost 4 years after not taking any testosterone. I got my blood work done, and my testosterone levels at that point were 97. So almost 4 years after taking testosterone for the last time and then getting tested, my testosterone levels were at 97 deciliters per whatever the measurement is. And so I was prescribed testosterone. And within 4 days of me taking testosterone, like all of a sudden the clouds were lifted, like everything started to just be better. Everything was great. But I had a lot of other mental issues going on, and I stopped taking the prescription, and I went back to my addiction, and I went back into my depression, and I just had a whole bunch of shit happen. And then finally, in the end, I moved away from everything. I moved to the East Coast. And in doing so, I was able to let go of all the mental issues that I had going on. I just released all the trauma that I had. These are other issues that I'll go into later on, the depression, just all the trauma from childhood up. On why I have such an addictive personality, all these things. Anyway, so like I said, so at that point, I stopped taking my testosterone prescription, went back into my addiction and my depression, finally got out of all of that, and now being on the other end, I went from being sitting around 260 pounds lean all year round for years, went down to 197 pounds, still lean. I looked the same, just smaller. I just wasn't jacked. I just looked the same, all vascular and lean and everything. But I didn't work out for I didn't work out for 4 years. And now so where I'm at now. So after being out of all depression, and I'm clear-headed, released all the trauma, I still wasn't feeling right. And I knew the one thing and even my man parts weren't working properly. Nothing was working exactly right. And I was full of anxiety. And I wasn't depressed anymore, but the anxiety was killing me. Like just everything was just going crazy all the time in my mind. So finally, I just decided, look, I know I'm going to have to take testosterone, and I think that's the one thing that's missing. I've checked off every other box to get myself healthy again, to get myself back on my feet, start on my own business. I bought some property, I got houses, I got some things going for me again, and I'm so proud of myself to do that. But, so where am I? I just lost where I was at. So, right, lost where I was there for a sec. So now what I did was I started taking testosterone again, but I had to do it my own way. I couldn't get a prescription because, for one, before I had left Ontario to move to New Brunswick, my doctor had retired. I didn't get into my files, so I wasn't able to get my prescription. And then so when I came back when I got here, and I knew I was going to take testosterone again, I did only way I know how to get it. So I got it. I started administering it. Right away, I started 200 milligrams of testosterone a week. And I've been on it for 2 months. I went from 197 pounds. Now I'm up to 206 pounds, but I think I'm down to like I've always been super lean, but I'm even like way leaner now. Like I think I'm sitting around probably like, I don't know. I think I'm around 7% maybe, I don't know, maybe a little less. But I look like that. My legs are the same way. Everything's just vascular and very lean. All right, so where am I going to end this video? I'm going to end this video with, I just had blood work done last Friday and today. Today is February 16th. I was just at the hospital today. I just got more blood work done. I'm going to see my doctor on Friday, and I'm going to find out what's going on. I'm going to have the whole blood work done, and so we're going to figure out. The thing is, though, my test level is going to be super high. I'm not going to know what the baseline was at this point, but I know that I wasn't producing testosterone because even after almost 4 years of not administering testosterone, my levels were still at 97. Nothing was working. But everything's working now. I feel great. I feel better now than I ever was. Even like right now, like I said, I'm taking 200 milligrams a week, and I'm just doing it as a TRT. Obviously, I'm a little above, but that's what it is, and I feel fantastic at where I'm at. I'm gonna end this video here. I don't know how you do these videos. You're supposed to like, subscribe, and share all these things, however that is. Anyway, I'm going to come back. I'm going to start making more videos about all the stupid shit that I did. I have so many stories of all the bad shit that I did. It's just the trend stories will be, I think, probably the favorite ones. Anyway, they're always my favorite to tell. Anyway, like I said, my name's Jeff. You guys have a good night, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye. I always have trouble trying to turn this fucking thing off. I have to turn off this way. All right, bye.